Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today we're looking at a couple of the Ahsoka class figures. So we do have Ezra Bridger from Lothal and General Hera Syndulla. So these are a little different than what we got to see them from the cartoon series. These are more the live action look for them. So as we look inside, you know, they are from the actress that had played Hera, as well as the gentleman that had played Ezra Bridger himself. So Hera, set after the fall of the Empire, Ahsoka follows former Jedi Knight Ahsoka Tano as she investigates the emerging threat to the vulnerable galaxy. Alright, and then we have Ezra Bridger, set after the fall of the Empire, Ahsoka follows former Jedi Knight, Okay, so it's the same write-up. That's all we have. It's the same exact write-up, which is funny because, you know, I know that it's Disney doing what they're doing, and Ahsoka is their main character to do all this stuff with, which is fine. You know, in the Disney-verse, it's fine. Of course, for me, Luke, Han, Leia, Chewie, and the gang, they were the ones that were taking care of all the other things, and there were a lot more dangerous things than just the remnants of the Empire to deal with. It is nice to be able to get Thrawn and all that, but you know, all those events were well written out. I wish they would just say, hey, let's just grab the novels and go from there, but unfortunately that's not what they want to do, because Disney wants to really have all the creative rights of their own and not pay anything, so on and so forth. So much for my griping about them. I'll try and get off the high horse here, but the nice thing is we do get figures of some of these characters, and I will say they are different. So as I get her out here, oh goodness gracious. There. I'm sorry. Okay. I do really want to note, because I did see, I have not been able to pick up the old Hera from the animated series. They do have her out there, and the figure is shaped a little differently. Now, you know, I think she was in a little bit more in the waist, and the head tails and that were done a little differently, and that's some of the things I noticed because the head tails were a little shorter in the series, because I think the ladies, or maybe the designers, didn't want to have the extra weight of the head tails for Ahsoka, as well as for Hera here. They shortened them up, but when you get the cartoon one, it is actually longer and all that. And I think the head is a little bit, I think we have a little bit more because we're trying to anchor that onto the hat, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. I'm just trying to say there is a slight difference. The head is the face is shaped a little bit differently. It is more after the actress instead of what Hera was in the cartoon. So, you know, there are some minor differences, and I'm not bashing it, I'm just trying to point that out here. Okay, so just looking at everything, we have the nice classic pants that we would typically get from the jumpsuit, and of course then we have Hera with her jacket, her leather jacket, and then her shirt on underneath, which, you know, you peel that back a little bit and it's nicely done underneath. She's got a nice shirt underneath there, and then we have the jacket sleeves. So she's got this nice bomber jacket here, and it works really well. I don't have any problems. We have the old Sabine Wren Resistance logo here that she's kept on her jacket, and of course she's got the general rank, as well as having the Rebel Alliance symbol on this side. So I'm going to take a closer look at that myself. You know what? I don't know exactly what that symbol fully is on that side. It almost looks like it could be a Death Star with a line across it, or it could just be something else. There might even be some dots up here. So, however that's done, it's not. I'm not. I don't want to say it's done, and maybe not the best way, but I mean, you get what I'm saying. I think you get what I'm saying here. You know, when you start getting some fine print, sometimes that doesn't always come off the best. And of course, then we have I think that's from the ghost on the jacket. So, all right. Otherwise, going over everything, we do have our standard ankle joint, and of course with the boot here, the foot doesn't go back very far. We have a single knee, and we do have a rotating part in that joint right there. The top of the leg, unlike a lot of the male figures, we don't have a rotation point there, so she's a little bit less agile than what we've had in some of the other figures. And then we only have the single elbow here, and this looks to be, it is the double shoulder, so we do have that extra pivot here. But otherwise, yeah, we are a little limited as far as how that goes. And then she has her standard smaller pistol. But as a pilot, she shouldn't need a big kind of holdout or a heavy duty blaster. I know there's a lot of smugglers that do, because they're quite often running around. Yes, she was a smuggler there for a little bit, doing some of the odd jobs, trying to keep fuel into the Ghost. But for the most part, she's tried to stay a little bit above and tried to choose missions and that wouldn't hurt very many people. She had a nice code of ethics for herself and for Kanan, and from Kanan, as well as trying to take care of the others. So I'm just having a dickens of a time trying to get that clasp. There is a stud there, so that should be able to go in there to kind of properly holster that, so it stays in there. But either way, so having the head tails is kind of nice, you know, because we have a Twi'lek character, and the goggles here. The goggles don't move, so you're not going to be able to put the goggles down. I always find it funny that we have this type of goggles, unless they're like welding goggles, maybe. So she's trying to fix up the old bird. That would definitely be something wonderful to be able to get in this character scale of some degree. You know, even if you just had a cockpit, so you could get a front and back of the Ghost, but that thing would just be almost the size of this pool table, so I don't think we'll ever get that. Instead, what I think they should do, and I'm throwing this out here, so please just bear with me. Whether Hasbro does this or anybody else, I think somebody should come out with ship parts, so you can buy parts and then create your own ship. Kind of like what we do with the lightsaber ones, right? So you could have a cockpit, and then you could either have an extending arm, or so it could just kind of go in, or whatever, and then you could just sell small parts. And then, you know, I'm willing to bet that if you did it for about like 30 or 40 bucks a piece, you would probably be able to sell them out in no time, because I'm sure plenty of people would be very eager to say, hey, let's get this one, and let's get these couple pieces, and then I'm sure you'd be sold out. All right, so I had gotten both of these figures from Walmart, because that's everybody's favorite store to go to. The Ezra Bridger one I had gotten at my local one here in small town USA, and Hera I had gotten in bigger town, a little bit north there of me. So we're having a little fun with words. Okay, so we do have the lightsaber, and of course he's got a DL-44 heavy blaster pistol. And I'd always thought his lightsaber was one of the better ideas. You have a blaster and a lightsaber all together. Boy, a lot of crunches. Okay, so Wow. Alright. He almost seems like an O-ring character. Because he's got his waist, there's nothing here, so we can twist him. So if you're doing the sit-ups, obviously, you know, there's nothing in here to move things. It's all down in here. So that's why I'm referring it to almost like an O-ring. Alright, so he's got a nice hairdo. As far as coming from the Ahsoka series, this is obviously him after he's all shaved. But this is supposed to be him from Lothal. And not... And, you know, you're taking the actor... It very much looks like his resemblance in the face and not so much as the cartoon look. And you're cleaning him up and making him look like he's from Lothal, from that time frame. But I don't remember him having a DL-44 heavy blaster. And he has, you know, this is almost like what Han had. He's got the nice scope on there and everything else. So as far as that goes, it's all kind of nicely done. Now the question is, when we put this in here, was it meant to go with the scope on the inside or on the outside? I think the scope sits on the outside there. There we are. And it's all the way down here. So I think we got it correctly with the scope on the outside. And then we have this come down here. A little bit of leg armor for his lightsaber. And looking at the lightsaber here, see, some of these you can take that out, and some of these you can't. So this will come out, and we have it fork here, so that's kind of different. This is his newer one, and of course we have the ring here, so we can put that on the side, and he's got a ring right there, so, which makes sense why he's got the armor there. So when it's constantly padding here on the side, it's hitting like the leather and not rubbing against the pant leg and just annoying the dickens out of them. So, you know, it's a nice look. It is a nice look. You know, looking at his boots, he's got a little ridge line there. He's got the armor here. So kind of similar as to what the stormtroopers are like, where you have the shoes, and then you also have the lower leg armor, but he doesn't have the upper leg armor from the stormtrooper outfit or uniform, but he does have some sturdy pants with the leather on the outside here. And then of course we have his top here, which is what he had always worn in the cartoon series. And he's got it's kind of like an armor piece up on top here, similar as to what they had done for Anakin and Obi-Wan, and that where they had worn different, you know, little pieces of armor here and there, but not entirely. So going from there, now he does look to have only a single, but the way this is cut, it kind of leads a little bit more movement here, not entirely up there, but you know, if he's got to talk into a microphone or something like that, he could easily do that. That's not a big deal. He does have that second shoulder joint in there, but of course having the armor here kind of limits that a little bit. He's got his communicator here, or if you want to say it's a Pip-Boy, I mean, no, wrong series. Alright, that would be wonderful to be able to have in the 6-inch as well. I think Hasbro needs to work on trying to get that going. But otherwise, the figure looks very nice. He really does. He's got his gloves on, which is what he had worn so often in the cartoon. Trying to get this back in here. And of course, having the lightsaber there. Trying to get it so he's holding it there. There. he looks nice. He really does. They both look nice. He's nicely cleaned up. He's done very well. But like I said, keep in mind the faces in that are modeled after the actual actors that had done it in the live action, not the animated. The faces in that do look different. So they are nice looking figures. Very nice to have into the collection. You know, they come off looking really decent. I think if I could, I'd still probably try and get the animated ones, because unfortunately I'm a sucker for the animated stuff, but it is what it is. Going from there, though, it is very nicely done. Not a problem. With that, though, thanks so very much for joining me. It's always great having you sit around the pool table as we look at all the silly stuff that I come up with from day to day. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video.